الله أكبر والله أكبر. الله أكبر والله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
عليكم رقيبا. So I will just give you a few pointers, since we have short khutbah, of things that, as a reminder, we all know that, but we need to refresh and make sure we can get the best advantage of this month of Ramadan. The famous ayah we always read about fasting, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyama kama kutiba alal ladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. The word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking to do siyam so you can become muttaqi, you can have taqwa. Now, taqwa is a word that scholars have struggled with because there is nothing equivalent that all the languages we know of which exactly matches that. Just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that in laysa kamithlihi shay, there is nothing like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter how you describe it, He's unique. So taqwa is a characteristic that people say God conscious, God aware, fearing God, and so on and so forth. Piety, salih, all these meanings that are given. In the modern times, there is one word that has gotten very popular. It's called mindfulness. And those who have read books about it or read articles or seen videos on it, mindfulness being in the present, being aware of where you are and what you're doing. Like when we do Taraweeh, and it happens to me, so I'm telling myself first and you later, you do 20 rakats or 8 rakats, your mind drifts all over the place, and the Taraweeh is over, and then you leave. Mindfulness means being in the present, listening to the hafiz or sheikh who is reciting, and kind of imagining, if you know a little bit of Arabic, it's very easy to understand what's happening or what's being described. Like yesterday, we listened to Surah An-Nisa. There were a lot of issues about inheritance, about women and who to marry, and so on and so forth. If you know a little bit and you have mindfulness, then you will know what's going on, and you can refresh your faith, and you can refresh your knowledge by just listening, because Quran speaks to you in many different ways. So taqwa is siyam is a practice that gives you taqwa, and taqwa will improve your mindfulness, so you can be more aware of what you're doing anytime, not just coming to the masjid. No matter what you're doing, you have more taqwa, and you will move away. Another way people are saying these days is include your phone in fasting. Let me make sure you understand what I'm saying. And again, it was a great thing that came to me. Stay away from WhatsApp for a while. I know it's difficult, even it's difficult for me because I see a lot of my religious knowledge through iPhone. But take a few hours of a day where you keep the phone aside and you're doing zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or reading the Quran, or thinking about the world and piety and being in presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So include your fast, the fast of the iPhone. That's what people are saying. A few hours a day. I know it's not possible. We read Quran on the iPhone these days. So, but get away from the temptation of looking at every video and every message that comes to you while you're fasting. That will elevate you to a fast of a higher level. And let's try to do that. And then he calls Imam Ghazali again the fast of the elite. Khasul khas, people who are very special, and only very few people will achieve this. It consists of abstaining from the heart from any worldly thoughts, worries, or preoccupation with anything other than Allah Almighty. Now, of course, while you're fasting, you're going to work, and you got all the family issues and affairs to settle, and what are you going to eat your meal at night, and what are you going to eat for dinner, and all these are things that are with us, and we do that. You can't avoid that. But if you can be aware that you are doing it for the sake of Allah and having that mind, again, going back to mindfulness of thinking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this will elevate you again to the very special few people who are always conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you go for i'tikaf, that's what you're told. Stay away from everything else. You stay in the masjid, and ladies stay in their homes and do the i'tikaf, however it's described in the sunnah. So that time you really focus on the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's try to do that during next few days while we have Ramadan. So we do a few things in Ramadan, and I want to take the time to discuss that. One thing we talked about, qualities of fasting and taqwa. Another thing we do is zakat. A lot of people calculate their zakat and charity. This is the month of charity. And it's very important because a lot of work is going on in the community and around the world. So make sure when you calculate, usually they call it the date is howl date. The howl date is the date at which you calculate zakat, and most people do it first of Ramadan or somewhere around there. Make sure you are generous in calculating a zakat, even sadaqat. Rather, scarcity himself harms himself. So if your heart is rich, then you will not be as attached to the wealth of the world. No matter what you have, give in the faith of Allah. If not, you will be doing it towards the end of Ramadan, inshallah. So, get that deep connection with the Quran. Try to learn the Quran. Try to get the meanings. There are so many tools out there online these days. You can get a word-for-word translation and get a meaning of, like I described yesterday, what we heard. If you knew a little bit of Arabic, you would know, and those Arabic-speaking brothers know, that we were discussing all the rules of inheritance and so on, and it will continue as we go on. And there was so many lessons in the Quran, but if you know a little bit, you will know more. So what we need to do is we need to develop a deep relationship with the Quran. We need to fall in love with the Quran so we can get more. And some people say you should be addicted to the Quran. That should be the thing you go back to all the time. Because if you have that relationship, people say, how can you read a book again and again? But Quran speaks to you in very different ways. If you read the Quran all the time and with understanding, you will come across ayahs which have never affected you this way. It's like you might have read this ayah thousands of times, but sometimes if he dies or is killed, would you turn back on your heels? Huzni wa dhahaba hammi. Look at the translation. And this is again, we all are facing worldly problems. We always have issues. So if you keep this dua when you read the Quran and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala along with the Quran, inshallah He will, since it's the hadith, it will solve your problem. Say, oh Allah, I am your slave, the son of your slave. My forelock is in your hand. Your judgment of me is inescapable. Your trial of me is just. I am invoking you by all the names that you call yourself and that you have taught to anyone in your creation, that you have mentioned in your book, or that you have kept unknown. Let the Quran be the light of my heart and the light of my chest and the remover of my sadness and the pacifier of my worries. So remember this dua. If anybody wants it, you can take a picture from my phone or you can find it online. Very famous dua, and hopefully you will include that in your daily routine, and Allah will inshallah solve all your problem. With that, we will. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi minhum al-amwat. Ibadallah, rahimakumullah. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi. Ya'idukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأعز وأجل وأتم وأهم وأكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وقم الصلاة. Please establish your lines.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Please straighten your lines. Don't leave any gaps besides social distancing. And pray like it's your last prayer before facing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. الله أكبر. سمع أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. Allahu Akbar. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله.
ये अनाउंस कर रहे थे you make the announcement the sister can come to the room. उधर से होकर
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sheikh Aslam Barshan, thank you very much for the beautiful khutbah reminding us of the arkan, inshallah. So we need all the help that we can get to run the
لا شريك له
لا شريك
وأشهد
وأشهد
أن
أن
محمدا عبده
محمدا عبده
ورسوله.
ورسوله.
I bear witness. Please repeat after me. I bear witness
I bear witness
that there is no one
there is no
worthy
one
of worship, worthy of worship
no for worship
besides Allah.
beside Allah,
And I bear witness
and
that
I
Muhammad,
bear witness
peace be
Muhammad
upon him, is his slave
is his slave
and a messenger.
and a messenger.
Mabruk, Jazakallah khair. Welcome to sisterhood.
Salam Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum. There is Sister Addie outside who is running for the Fort Bend ISD, inshallah. Please stop by and ask her question if you have any. Sister Addie is out on the patio that would like to speak to you if you have any questions. Assalamu alaikum. We don't have iftar, sitting down iftar over here, but we do have drive-through iftar. I think it begins at 7.